Have you ever found yourself reaching for something you thought was healthy, only to discover later it was packed with sugar? It's frustrating, isn't it? One moment, you're trying to make a smart choice, a low-fat yogurt here, a granola bar there, and the next, you're hit with an energy crash that leaves you more tired than before. If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. In our senior years, our bodies handle sugar differently, and what once felt harmless can now chip away at our energy, mood, and overall health far more quickly than we realize. Let's be honest. Most of us were raised during a time when sugar wasn't really seen as a problem. It was a treat, a reward, something that made everything taste just a little bit better. But now, with so many processed foods lining the shelves, sugar isn't just a treat anymore. It's hiding in places you'd never expect, sneaking into your meals under names you can't even pronounce, and quietly affecting everything from your digestion to your blood pressure. And for anyone hoping to stay sharp, strong, and active through their later years, learning how to spot these sneaky sugars can make all the difference. So why is this so important now? Because our bodies have changed. As we age, we become more sensitive to the effects of sugar, especially the hidden kinds. We may notice more frequent fatigue, random aches, or even problems with focus. And while these symptoms might feel like just another part of aging, sugar could very well be the silent contributor you never suspected. The good news is, once you know where it's hiding, you can start to regain control. You might think sugar is easy to spot, but it's far more deceptive than it used to be. Food manufacturers have learned to disguise it with fancy names and clever marketing. They'll call it evaporated cane juice or maltodextrin or organic brown rice syrup. It sounds harmless, even healthy, but it's still sugar. And while we might not be spooning it into our tea or coffee like we used to, we're still taking it in through dressings, soups, sauces, and those supposedly healthy snacks. One of the biggest eye-openers for many seniors is realizing how common sugar is in foods they never thought to question. For example, that can of tomato soup you enjoy on a chilly afternoon, it could have more sugar than a cookie. The low-fat salad dressing you drizzle over your greens? Same story. Even whole wheat bread can be loaded with added sugar to make up for the flavor lost in processing. These aren't desserts. These are everyday foods that have been sweetened so gradually over the years, we stopped noticing. Until, of course, our energy dips, our joints ache, and our clothes feel a little tighter than they used to. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but I don't even eat candy or desserts anymore. And that's great, but it's only half the picture. The real challenge comes from the hidden sources, the ones that sneak into your kitchen and affect your health without setting off any alarms. The challenge isn't just avoiding the obvious sugary treats. It's learning to decode food labels, to listen to your body, and to spot those sneaky sugars before they do any more harm. What many folks find empowering is that this isn't about strict diets or giving up all the foods you love. It's about small, smart changes. And those changes start with awareness. Imagine going through your pantry and realizing that by swapping out just a few products, you could sleep better, feel more alert, and even reduce that stubborn belly bloating that seems to stick around no matter what. That's not wishful thinking. That's what happens when your body no longer has to battle hidden sugar every single day. And let's not forget the emotional impact. Sugar can be comforting, especially when you're feeling lonely or dealing with stress. That's real. But the tricky part is how it affects our brain and mood in ways we often overlook. That slice of cake or sweetened drink might lift your spirits in the moment, but it's usually followed by a crash. Then comes the irritability, the fogginess, maybe even the guilt. That's a cycle so many seniors find themselves trapped in, and breaking free from it can lead to more peace of mind than you might expect. So what do? We take a closer look. We start with the small stuff, checking labels, asking questions at the grocery store, and choosing foods with ingredients we can actually recognize. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about protecting your energy, your heart, and your brain one meal at a time. And if you've already started paying more attention to your sugar intake, that's a huge step. But there's always more to uncover. Because even the most health-conscious among us are still surprised to learn just how many so-called healthy foods are loaded with sugar. It's time to stop being surprised. It's time to get curious, stay informed, and take back control of your plate and your well-being. Once you begin paying attention to where sugar hides, something changes. You start to notice patterns, those little moments when you feel unexpectedly tired after lunch, or when a light snack somehow leaves you hungrier than before. It's not just coincidence. For many seniors, this comes down to one simple but overlooked culprit: how quickly sugar gets into the bloodstream and how hard your body has to work to process it. The trouble is, many of these added sugars act like energy bandits. They give you a brief boost, but that boost doesn't last. What follows is often a wave of sluggishness, sometimes headaches, or even irritability. And it's not just about how you feel in the moment, it's what's happening behind the scenes. Your blood sugar may be spiking and crashing more than it should. Over time, those spikes and crashes can take a toll on your metabolism, your heart, your memory, and even your vision. Now, here's where it gets even trickier. Certain products aimed specifically at older adults, like nutritional shakes, fiber bars, or low-fat yogurts, often market themselves as health boosters. But a glance at the label can be sobering. Some of these wellness items contain more sugar than a slice of pie. It's dressed up in healthy-sounding packaging, but your body doesn't care what the label says. It reacts to what's inside. For anyone trying to stay independent and active, this matters more than you might think. Sugar might not seem like a direct threat to your mobility or your sharpness, but it chips away at your reserves slowly. You may feel a little more winded during walks, or find that you're less motivated to get things done. It's subtle at first, but gradually, it becomes your new normal. The good news is, it doesn't have to be. One of the simplest ways to cut back on hidden sugar is to favor food that's closer to its natural state. You don't have to become a gourmet chef. You just start picking things that don't come with a paragraph of ingredients. When you make a sandwich, you can try a different type of bread with fewer additives. When you're buying pasta sauce, you choose the jar without the added sweetness. These aren't drastic changes, but over time, they start to add up. People are often surprised by how fast they notice a difference once they cut back. That afternoon fog starts to lift. Their energy lasts longer into the evening. Even their cravings shift. That's because sugar feeds itself. The more you eat it, the more your body demands it. But once you start easing it out, your system recalibrates. Suddenly, you're satisfied by simpler meals. You're snacking less. You feel fuller longer. There's also the matter of clarity, mental sharpness. While it's common to blame forgetfulness on aging, studies have shown that excess sugar can cloud focus and even impact memory. So if you felt scattered lately or noticed a mental dip you can't quite explain, it's worth asking if your food might be part of the reason. The connection between diet and brain health is stronger than most people realize, and sugar has a way of interfering with that balance. Cutting down doesn't mean depriving yourself. In fact, many seniors rediscover foods they'd forgotten they loved. When your taste buds aren't numbed by constant sweetness, fresh fruit becomes more flavorful. Roasted vegetables take on a richness you hadn't noticed before. Even a cup of tea, once heavily sweetened, now tastes complete with just a splash of lemon or cinnamon. It's like reawakening your senses. There's also something deeply empowering about taking control of what you eat, not out of fear, but out of confidence. It's a quiet, personal kind of strength. You're not just avoiding sugar, you're protecting your vitality. You're deciding that your days deserve to be fueled by something better. And even if no one else notices that extra spring in your step or the clearer tone in your voice, you'll feel it, and that's what counts. What surprises many people is how emotionally freeing it feels to no longer be pulled around by sugar cravings. When you break that cycle, you start feeling more in charge, not just of your food, but of your whole routine. You wake up clearer. You plan your day with more energy. You make decisions with more ease. It's a ripple effect that goes far beyond what's on your plate. And here's something else you might not expect. Reducing hidden sugars doesn't just affect your body. It has a subtle but meaningful impact on how you see yourself. You begin to feel a little more disciplined, a little more resilient. You realize you don't need those quick fixes to get through your day. You're stronger than that. And that kind of realization, that stays with you. Even small successes build momentum. You might start by choosing an unsweetened cereal or skipping the sugary creamer in your coffee. Then you begin trying a few new meals or reaching for fruit instead of cookies in the evening. Before you know it, you've reshaped your entire relationship with food without ever feeling like you're on a diet. It's not about restriction. It's about freedom. Freedom from the roller coaster of energy spikes, the mood swings, the creeping fatigue. Freedom to feel alert, capable, and satisfied in your senior years, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. There's a quiet power in awareness, And when you become more mindful of what goes into your body, you start noticing how everything feels just a bit more manageable. Your steps feel lighter, your digestion steadier, and those little moments that used to feel overwhelming suddenly seem less intense. That's the kind of shift that doesn't just happen overnight, but it begins the moment you stop letting hidden sugars dictate your day. Once you're out of that sugar haze, you start reconnecting with parts of yourself you may have forgotten. You find it easier to enjoy conversations, to focus during a phone call, or to sit with a good book without feeling restless. You may even notice your skin looking a bit more vibrant, or your sleep becoming more restful. These aren't coincidences, they're signs that your body is healing, finding balance again. And this isn't about perfection. It's not about eliminating every trace of sugar or making yourself feel guilty for enjoying something sweet on occasion. It's about understanding the bigger picture, how the little decisions repeated over time create the foundation for how you feel each day. You're not just reacting to symptoms, you're becoming proactive about your well-being. If you've ever stood in the grocery store aisle feeling overwhelmed by labels and options, just remember that you don't need to have all the answers at once. Start with the familiar, the real, the ingredients you recognize. Trust your instincts. If something tastes overly sweet or feels like it gives you a quick high followed by a crash, probably isn't doing your body any favors. With each choice, you're giving yourself a better chance at feeling steady and strong. There's also a deeper satisfaction that comes with making your own meals, even the simplest ones. When you chop your own vegetables, season your own food, and taste it as it's meant to be, without that layer of processed sweetness covering it up, you begin to enjoy eating in a new way. It's not just about nourishing your body. It's about honoring your effort and treating your health with respect. And let's not forget how this shift affects your emotional health. When you start avoiding hidden sugars, your moods become more stable. You feel more in control. That sudden anxiety, or the sense of being constantly overwhelmed, it starts to fade. That's because sugar doesn't just play games with your energy levels, it also affects your brain chemistry. Reducing it can help create a steadier sense of calm and clarity. It can also help rebuild a sense of trust with yourself. Maybe you've struggled with food choices in the past or felt frustrated by cravings. But every time you say no to something that doesn't serve your health, and yes to something nourishing, you're reinforcing that you are capable of caring for yourself in a powerful way. That trust is what leads to confidence, and that confidence starts to ripple into other areas of life. You begin to take more initiative in your daily routines. You might find yourself heading out for more walks, or spending more time outside, or even getting involved in community events again. That shift in energy, that sense of lightness, allows you to show up more fully for the people you care about and for yourself. And when people around you begin to notice the change, they may ask, "What are you doing differently?" You'll know the answer isn't anything extreme. It's not about fads or drastic rules. It's simply about choosing better fuel for your body and mind. You'll know you did it by paying attention to the quiet cues your body has been sending all along. The truth is, there's nothing more valuable than feeling well in your senior years. It's not about how many decades you've lived, it's about how fully you get to experience the years ahead. Less sugar means fewer ups and downs. More stability means more freedom to enjoy the moments that matter, whether that's traveling, playing with grandkids, gardening, or simply enjoying a peaceful afternoon on your own terms. And if you're just beginning to think about how sugar affects your life, you're already taking an incredible step forward. You're choosing clarity over confusion, strength over sluggishness, intention over habit. That kind of decision-making is what gives you control over your health and your future. So if this video resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on the simple actions you could take today. Maybe it's choosing a snack with fewer additives. Maybe it's pouring one less spoonful into your morning drink. Or maybe it's just pausing before you reach for something out of routine. Whatever that step is, know that it matters. If this message helped open your eyes to something you hadn't thought about before, share it with someone who might benefit too. The conversation around senior health should be empowering, and your voice can make a difference. And if you've got stories or tips of your own, leave a comment. We read every single one. Make sure to subscribe for more videos that support your journey toward better health, happiness, and confidence in your senior years. You deserve to feel your best, not just some of the time, but every day. And you have everything it takes to get there, one mindful choice at a time. Here's to less sugar, more strength, and a life that feels as vibrant as it truly can be.